Dreams. Pursuit of Impossible Dreams, Leo Novsky.
I will never forget the first time I saw her. I was a 12-year-old coming to America with my parents as a political refugee from the Soviet Union. And as our plane circled around the New York skyline, the sight of her raised torch filled my heart with wonder. It was at that moment that I knew that my parents' impossible dream of coming to America has finally been realized. Mr. Toastmaster, my fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, the striking thing about impossible dreams is they're impossible to forget. They come deep from our convictions. And they are often so large that others, and sometimes even we ourselves, might believe that we might as well be reaching for the unreachable star. Coming to America as an immigrant has taught me, though, that it is the impossible dreams that are most important. For they are the dreams that hold the power to change our lives. For my family, life in the Soviet Union was difficult not just because of shortages and political persecution. For us, our biggest problem was one word under ethnicity in our Soviet passport: Jewish. Being Jews, my parents had to grow up with almost daily persecutions and insults, and were limited in what they can do and where they can go. So when I was born, my parents decided to begin a pursuit of an impossible dream: to escape the Soviet Union. At that time, the Iron Curtain was slammed shut, and such a dream was treason, punishable by death. But my parents kept the hope alive. I remember many times when I would come home from school with a black eye or smarting from being called the dirty Jew, and my dad would sit me down and would tell me, "Son, those who hate have the power to hurt your body, but never the power to break your spirit. That one day we will live in a country where those who hate cannot reach you, and you can have the power to dream whatever you want to be." So in 1989, when the Iron Curtain finally started to crack, my parents decided to escape the Soviet Union. They gathered all of their courage. My extended family thought we were crazy. In the words of my communist uncle, "What are you thinking? They're gonna take everything away from you. You will have nothing. And for what? So you can march into capitalist hell?" True to his words, before we could leave the Soviet Union, we were stripped of our passports and everything that we owned, and allowed to get on the train with $50, no credit cards, my backpack, 3 suitcases full of clothes, and 10 more full of Russian dolls and other trinkets that we planned to sell along the way to survive. To this 12-year-old mind, it was the beginning of one big adventure. But I think you can imagine how scary and nerve-wracking it must have been for my parents to leave everything and everyone they knew behind for a dream of freedom. As refugees, we struggled day to day to make ends meet. We sold what we could, and we traveled first to Vienna, then to Rome, applying for asylum to any country that would take us. Our goal was, though, United States, but our chances weren't so good. We didn't have family here, nor did we know anyone important. But my parents, they refused to give up. So every week, we would dress up and go to the U.S. consulate, where we would plead our case and get our rejection. And then my parents and I would go back to our one-room apartment. They would pick up their suitcases full of trinkets, and I, my trusty backpack, And we would walk to the market where my parents swallowed their pride and years of higher education, opened the suitcases up, and try to sell trinkets right there on the sidewalk to make enough money for us to eat for the next week. My job was that of an outside sales representative, which meant that I sold Russian dolls by running around the market screaming, "Una mille lire," which was about $1. It was then I realized that I kind of liked this capitalist hell. 6 months later, we received a letter. Looking up from that letter, my father's eyes brimming with tears, he smiled, grabbed both me and my mom, and danced us around our room saying, "We're going to America." It's been 20 years now. I'm a U.S. citizen, entrepreneur like Ron, and a founder of my own startup. My own version of entrepreneurial impossible dream. And when things get too rough, what inspires me most is the fact that my parents' impossible dream has allowed me to live in a country where hate cannot reach me, and where I can live my impossible dreams. So what are your impossible dreams? I know you have them. These are the dreams that come from your deepest convictions. These are the dreams that are so big that others might have told you to forget about. And these are the dreams that could actually come true if you have the courage to try, the willingness to work hard, and the desire to never give up. So take a moment. Think of what you can do today, this week, this month, to make your impossible dream a reality. And the next time you see the Statue of Liberty, remember how lucky we are that we have certain unalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of our impossible dreams. Mr. Toastmaster.